Cheerleaders of the week, TL Hanna, plenty to cheer about if you're on that squad in recent years and this season as well. They were keeping the spirit high on the visitors' sidelines at Malden. The cheerleaders of the week, the Hanna Yellow Jackets cheerleaders. Hanna, I think, has been playing several road games in a row, so they'll be back in front of the home fans sooner than later. Welcome back into the show. We've got to go back a long way to 2001 since the Wren Golden Hurricanes had started a season 0-5. They got things rolling for the first time ever against the new program in the area, Fountain Inn. Although it's the defense by the Fury. Danny Gavin with a 43-yard pick six and Fountain Inn the 7-0 advantage. However, back come the Canes. Trayvon West across the goal line. That tied it at 7, and Wren never looks back. First win of the year for the Canes. Fountain Inn falls to 0-6, 49-7 is the final. That was a Region 2 3A game that, of course, also had Powdersville beating BHP. What about Palmetto and Southside in that region? Cameron Gambrell, little shovel pass. Jaden Rice made it 7-0. And then Jaden Speedy Taylor later on the 80-yarder, the end around. He's off to the races. Southside holds on for the 25-21 win. A tight battle. Southside gets to 500 overall and opens up region play with the victory. Region 3-3A, Chapman Panthers, after some bumpy times and a tough non-region schedule, going at it against Carolina. Logan Gray gets it to Matthias Scott. 40 yards on the sprint to the end zone. And the Panthers building on a third quarter lead. Then Jaden Bethay with a fumble. Trip Simmons able to come away with it as the defense was working there. Later on, Jarius Burton was sacked on the 4th and 7. And as it plays out, Panthers of Chapman going on to the victory, so they're out of the gate in fine fashion in Region 3-3A. Also in the region, Broome and Travelers Rest at the home of the Devil Dogs. And Zion Wilkins with a TD run early on makes it a 7-0 game as the Centurions looking to get over 500 for the first time on the year. Michael Lancaster, first-year head coach, former longtime Dorman assistant, now guiding Travelers Rest. Team has done some nice things in recent weeks, but this time Isaiah Brown, 15-yard touchdown, and Broome begins pulling away. They move on to the victory. They're 1-0 in Region 3-3A with their triumph, 30-21. TR answering with that score by Xavier Donaldson. Liberty and Abbeville in Region 1-2A. Panthers trying to make it 19 straight in the series and get a shutout for a second straight year. Jamie Nichols honored, head coach, winning his 200th game recently, and his team obliges with some good work. Look at that big fella, Altervius Patterson, 46 yards for the touchdown. They want to feed him the ball, and that they did. Later on, J.J. Hernandez with a nice run for Liberty, but Abbeville able to pull away to the win and get to 4-2 and 1-0 on the region, 41-7. Also in Region 1-2A, Landrum against an 0-5 Chesney team. Cardinals Titus Poor gonna look for a receiver. It's Braden Maystar. And Maystar on the receiving end. That set up an A.J. Lindsey 5-yard touchdown run. Landrum had a 14-0 advantage on their rival, the Eagles. Later on, the Maystar coming up with a sack of K.J. Proctor. That's kind of how it went as they get the shutout. Landrum wins it 28-0 over the Chesney Eagles. Also in Region 1-2A, Blacksburg goes down to 96 trying to get a win. Blacksburg trying to snap a 13-game skid as well. Fake punt. Colby Capps makes the pass. Pass interference on the play, but 96 later answers. Xavion King takes it in for the score, 24-13, and that's your final. 96 goes to 4-2, wins for the 5th time in 6 meetings against Blacksburg, 24-13. Wednesday night, St. Joe's made the trek down to Calhoun Falls Charter. Knights trying to bounce back from their first loss of the season the week before. Walker Wood doing his thing, 31-yard touchdown, gave his team a 7-0 lead. We saw his legs. How about his arm? Harrison Zinkin behind the defense. That's a big touchdown, and St. Joe's goes to 6-1 on the year and 1-0 in the region with that 62-6 win. Back to action this evening. Christ Church getting the win at the Asheville School. Pendleton, a region win at West Oak. Ware Shoals at home against the Chiefs of McCormick, falling 49-14. The St. Joe's game was played last night. Only other game not being played in the area tonight. Greenville and Westside, they'll go at it in a huge game in Region 1-4A at 7 p.m. on Monday. Mountain Foothill 7 in western North Carolina. Hendersonville trying to get another win against Chase. had to visit the home of the Trojans. Jalen Rudisil, 25-yard run for pay dirt, made it 21-7 Chase in the third quarter. Later on, Leonard Benefield going to load it up. Eric Rashid on the receiving end. Hendersonville had a 3rd and goal, but they fumbled later in this drive, and Chase able to move on to the victory by a final count of 35-16, and a big one indeed. Polk County gets a win in its game at RS Central. Patton wins on the road. What about North Henderson and Tuscola? That one goes to the visitors, while West Henderson remains unbeaten with a 2-point win.